¿Listos para los muertos?
5, 4, 3,
1.
Paulie here on the Latino Slant. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Please make sure you're subscribed to the channel and do me a favor. Any and all video that you see, comment, like it, share it. We have videos on all different subject matters from pop culture to Latino history, music, and culture. So today's video, since Day of the Dead is fast approaching us, I wanted to talk about La Santa Muerte. And there's a great article in the Daily Chela because there's a lot of misconceptions and this legend of Santa Muerte is growing. Let's get right into it. Not to be confused with La Catrina, who is a caricature, a comic caricature from over 100 years ago that Posada created to make social commentary on modern day Mexico, turn of the century. So here we go with Santa Muerte. From the Daily Chela, the cult, the legend of and business of Santa Muerte by Gustavo Vazquez-Lozano. It doesn't matter how much scholars want to establish a line of continuity between pre-Hispanic gods of death, Posada's Catrina and the Santa Muerte, the White Lady is a modern concept. They call her Santa Muerte. The name means good death or holy death. The term was borrowed from Catholic prayers asking for a peaceful demise from this word. In peace with God, satisfied with life, the medical nation has its own word for it. The Greek word is euthanasia, which also means good death. The right to die without unnecessary suffering. Be it good or holy, the concept is not new. And there is a photo there of La Santa Muerte. Nice. Since the beginning of the 21st century, a bizarre cult has grown from a solitary street altar in a poor neighborhood in Mexico City to a continental phenomenon which is now studied by scholars. It is the Santa Muerte cult. Perhaps its more original feature is that while in Catholicism, the good holy death is a process, and in medicine, it's a procedure. The cult of Santa Muerte turned it into a person. Its acolytes say that deep down, it's the same thing, the desire to have death without physical pain, the hope to experience a peaceful demise. But since in this new movement, death is a person, a third element must be added, the desire, the obligation among her followers to please and worship her. In Spanish, the word death is a feminine pronoun, la muerte. Her devotees call her loving names, the beautiful one, skinny woman, cute girl, little mother, and even virgin. 21st century remix. A few scholars claim that the Santa Muerte is a direct descendant of the Aztec deities of death, but it's not a symbol of fertility and abundance. But she is not a symbol, and she is not a direct descendant either of the Mexicanisma Catrina, like others. Santa Muerte is now a massive global business involving the chain production of statues in 2 continents, movie deals, book presentations, juicy contracts in the building industry, temples and planned cathedrals, and copyright battles. Fascinating. Fascinating. Unlike the Catrina made by the early 20th century artist Jose Guadalupe Posada, Santa Muerte is not interested in social criticism or mocking the hypocrisy of the middle class. It doesn't matter how much scholars want to establish a line of continuity and thus some legitimacy between the pre-Hispanic gods of death Posadas Catrina and the Santa Muerte, the White Lady is a modern concept. Now, for me, Santa Muerte is completely new. In fact, I have to admit it right here that I first discovered Santa Muerte in a television show. And that was last year's Penny Dreadful City of Angels, where they heavily use Santa Muerte and where she even shows up as a character in the TV show. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. And what really, we have a lot of videos on that TV show where we break it down. Was not a big fan of the show, but there were some interesting elements. Okay, here we go. Discovered by an American. The first reference to the modern cult of Santa Muerte appears in a novel by American anthropologist Oscar Lewis, Los Hijos de Sanchez. Lewis published his story of a Mexican family in 1961. Marta, one of the characters, says, "My sister Antonia told me that when husbands are straying, you can pray to the Santa Muerte. It is a novena that should be prayed at 12 o'clock. Originally, the Santa Muerte was the one to go to rehabilitate unfaithful husbands." Lewis published his work at the beginning of the 60s, meaning that the cult existed at least since the mid-50s in the Tepito neighborhood in Mexico City. In Lewis's novel, the novena to the Santa Muerte is treated like a secret, passed by word of mouth among women. Birth to the world. The cult stayed underground during the whole second half of the 20th century until it exploded at the very beginning of the 21st. 2001, on Halloween Day, a woman named Enriquita Romero, who until then had made her income by selling quesadillas, put an altar to Santa Muerte outside her house on Alfarero Street in Tepito, the same neighborhood where Sanchez located his novel. Mrs. Romero opened a small shop with souvenirs, books, petals, pictures, and candles of the Holy Death. It was a roaring success. The cult didn't go unnoticed in Hollywood. In 2004, there was a brief mention in Man of Fire. Okay. Yeah. Maybe I overheard, because with Hollywood, and this was starring Denzel, I know they've hit on Santeria. And that Santeria is Caribbean with a connection to Africa. But it was in 2010 when the American public had its first massive exposure to the icon thanks to two popular series, Breaking Bad and Criminal Minds. That is why I didn't hear about it also, because I don't watch I'm not a fan of. It's not that I'm not a fan. I just could never get through Breaking Bad. Much apologies right now. Who do they believe? If Santa Muerte is a person, then who she is according to her followers, then who is she according to her followers and worshipers? The Holy Death started as a character with the ability to grant many a miracle, regardless of its moral value. It could be recovering a lost lover, getting a job, or protection while killing an enemy. Yes, this makes sense. This makes sense why the drug narcos pray to Santa Muerte. And wow, that's great. But the central expectation is to obtain protection and shelter in a world of abandonment and insecurity, and to experience a good, painless death. Her identity is a matter of debate. Some followers theorize that she is an archangel. Others see her as a demigod who controls the lives of all beings in the universe. Some others believe that the Santa Muerte is a soul from purgatory. And finally, there are those who see her as a demon. Wow, this is getting really interesting. So just want to remind you guys to like and comment on this video. This is a very interesting topic. It is Dia de los Muertos, the season coming up for Day of the Dead, which originated in Mexico. And I thought it'd be great to talk about this story and the origins of Santa Muerte. So let's continue. Again, this is from the Daily Chela, the reaction. Ezekiel Sanchez, a well-known Catholic minister, expressed his concern in 2008 when some parishioners asked him to bless their statues of Santa Muerte. I'm concerned about it. Excuse me, guys. I'm concerned about it because it's an aberration. It's a misunderstanding of faith. At the same time, I can understand why it's growing. Many people, especially Mexican immigrants, are feeling that institutions are abandoning them. This makes sense as well why so many Mexican immigrants crossing, and probably maybe not even Mexican now, crossing the borders or embarking on a dangerous journey would pray to Santa Muerte. Large-scale opposition has come from the Mexican government. The antagonism grew when its intelligence forces started noticing the relationship between drug trafficking and the appearance of altars on highways. Between ritual murders, violence, and growth of worship, scholars also found that the cult flourished in those areas of the cities where families had members in prison. Needless to say, not everyone who follows the Santa Muerte is involved in organized crime. There are many sincere believers, as there are in Santeria and the New Age movements. But the link between the cult and narco trafficking, while it may not be casual, is firm. A new religion or a new business? There are, of course, more mundane reasons to explain the cult's success. Business opportunities. Santa Muerte is now a global business that ranges from the mass production of statues in China and Mexico to a Salvadorian seamstress working out of her Los Angeles home, making $1,000 dresses to order for Santa Muerte statues, wrote Anna Fascio Craxier for the Washington Post. Thus, rather than a romantic and ancient cult of the dispossessed, the Santa Muerte is now a massive global business involving the chain of production of statues in 2 continents, movie deals, book presentation, juicy contracts in the building industry, temples and planned cathedrals, and copyright battles. Wow. Certainly a lot to chew off of. This is as much a discovery for me in this article as it is for you. And I love this writer. This writer for the Daily Chela has also written a story and book on the Aztec Eagles, which I did a series of 3 videos on here on the channel. Would love for you guys to watch those videos as well. Give me a comment. It's on a Mexican group of pilots that fought at the end of World War II. And they were called the Aztec Eagles, but they kind of got lost in history. So this writer here has brought them back to life. A saint for a terrified Mexico. But its origins are worth an explanation. La Santa Muerte is perhaps an emotional reaction in a country terrified by death and violence. Therefore, the people's need to give an identity and to keep the Grim Reaper happy, a kind of Stockholm syndrome, Posada personified death too, with a different purpose. However, death was always supposed to be a metaphor. Jose Guadalupe Posada carved his most famous Catrina to mock those taking the upper class too seriously. But he knew that the skeleton was always a metaphor. Same for the Aztecs, for whom it represented cosmic forces. Perhaps it would be more uncomfortable for those who are violent if the people started asking what the symbol means and why it became a person, rather than take it literally. Wow. Wow. So that is by Gustavo Lozano. He's a writer from Mexico. And like I said, he wrote those great articles on the Aztec Eagles, Mexican pilots. So that's it. We will be doing more videos on a Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos themed subjects. I thought it would be really great to crack open this year's season and start with La Santa Muerte, which has become so popular. And fantastic article. Please comment. I want to know what you guys think of what we just covered in this video. And again, you can check our merchandise store out. Got a nice little cup right there. Got all kinds of other goodies for you. All right. Well, we'll see you on the next video. Wherever you're at, please keep your slant muy, muy fuerte.
Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Come on, yo. It's land.
Yeah, but isn't this the unplugged version? I don't know. I think it's the unplugged version.
All right, Paulie, let's go.
All right, listen, y'all. Just go ahead and let the guest play. Come on, jeez. That's better. Where'd I go?